Greetings. So this video is going to be get rid of the so part. This video is going to cover this digital night vision unit that I purchased to test to see how good it was, and it goes by several different names. You may see it as a OHB-R5 or the name is designated in the manual, which is a Z9157. But since I'm in America, both of those names are kind of, I guess, stupid. What it should have been called, and what I'm going to just refer to, this is not its official name, but it's what I call it. I'm just going to call it a DNVG7. D obviously for digital, and it's easy why I call it that, not easy. It's obvious why I call that is because it looks like a NVG7 or a PVS7. With that being said, we're going to get into it, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit. This looks a lot like a PVS7. Obviously, it's digital. It has several different quirks on it. I've already did other videos on it, but I had some requests on my channel about a more in-depth review on it. So I'm going to give it a try. I'm also going to include footage of it at night so you can see what it looks like. Now, this is a digital unit. It is not a analog unit. However, don't think that it looks something like, hold on, I don't want it to fall, like this one. This is, I think it's a Jack Pacific toy. This company makes several different night vision goggles. They also make the COD one and the Modern Warfare one. But don't confuse this with this. This is nothing like this. Just for references, this has all these different lights on it, these LED lights. This one just has one LED light. So on one side is a LED light, the other side is a flashlight. And this LED light is very bright. So as a matter of fact, it's so bright, I was taking footage at the baseball field around the corner from my house, and you can see from one side of the field to the other. The thing about this one, it does have a really good digital camera. I don't know what kind of technology it uses, but I've been impressed. It does say it's a 4K, so that might have something to do with it, but I can tell you, this thing, it looks pretty good. It's not quite as good as analog, but I mean, it's pretty good. I'm not sure what chipset this thing uses. And then on the other hand, I don't know how they can make it so cheaply. But the chipset on it is really good. I think it said it's 600 M. I guess I'm assuming that its field of view is supposed to be for 600 meters. I'm not sure. I'm still doing testing on it. But so far, for the money, you can't really beat it. This is geared toward people who don't really have 5,000, 6,000, 2,000 to put on buying true night vision. If you're like most people and times are tough, I mean, I have a little money to throw at different projects, but I'm by no means wealthy. And also my YouTube channel isn't monetized. That's a perfect segue to say that please, if you like my content, subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get enough subscribers so I can be monetized. And if I can get just a little smidgen of that YouTube money, I can make better videos and buy more stuff. But for the most part, I'm doing the best I can. Now, let's get into it. What's the pros, the cons, and the issue with this particular unit? The first issue that I ran into is I could not get it to power on. It powered on just fine when I hooked the USB adapter at the bottom. Well, it's not adapter, sorry. It's the USB port at the bottom. I was able to get it to power on and it worked just fine. However, the battery that it said that I needed to purchase would not work, which was I believe it was a 18650. It really depends on which battery you get. But the only thing I can think of is that it needs a specific, and I did say specific with S, not a Pacific. But yes, it does need a specific battery. And the only thing I can think of is that the milliamps are different, because the one that I bought from Battery Source would not work. Now the one I got in here is the one that came out of my flashlight. And as a matter of fact, I better go get the flashlight so I can show you which one, just in case you have trouble finding it. I did find one that looks almost like it at Walmart, but you want the blue type battery. You don't want the ones that are, let's see here. This is the battery that you want. If you have a battery that you if you purchase a battery from, say, a place like Battery Source, this battery will not function in this unit. If you put this battery in, at least for me, I've tried 3 different batteries and they will not power it. But this particular battery is new, it's rechargeable, and it doesn't work. And not only doesn't work in here, it doesn't work in the flashlight. And this battery is supposed to be a flashlight battery. It's supposed to have a protected circuit so that it won't get fried from a power surge. And it's supposed to have a voltage regulator in the battery, but it will not power this. I've tried one with an unprotected battery circuit and one with one, and neither one would power the unit. Now, what I found did work fine was this particular flashlight. It's the TAC Pro 500, and that's what this battery came out of. And if you purchase a flashlight like this, it's going to come with the battery, and you can just use it to power your light. And the good thing about this particular battery and this particular flashlight is you can use the flashlight as a backup charger. Now, what's the con to this? I'll show you. Oh, it will help if I press the right button. So this is the other con to this particular unit. It is lit. There's no way to cut these off. So I'm working on a workaround for that. That's not a deal breaker. I'm thinking maybe this needs some type of sleeve to go over here to hide it being illuminated. So that's the second con to this. What's con number 3? Well, so this is the first mode for IR. It doesn't have the IR illuminator on, but when you do the other modes like this, I'm gonna hit it again. I don't know if you can see it with the camera, it might filter it out. Oh yeah, it's on here with the camera. So this light that you see on here, it is visible from the naked eye, but barely. But it is red. On the camera, it's this kind of bluish color. But that would be the IR illuminator. So that means that people can see you. However, let's see, I'll cut the unit back off. However, the camera without the IR illuminator is really good. If you're outside in complete darkness, you can still see. And if you're outside on a normal night with, say, some type of light pollution, stars, moon, you won't have any problem seeing with this unit, which really surprised me. I'm used to most of them being like the ones that you would normally get, something like this particular unit, and you can't see. That really surprised me and also impressed me. It's pretty good. As a matter of fact, when I was taking footage, an officer came up because he saw me out there in the park in the dark, and I showed it to him, and he looked through it, and he said that he was impressed with it as well, just like I was. Now, what would be the pros to this? Number one, price. Number two, it's a digital camera and it's not fragile. Number three, you got a wide source available different IR illuminators that you could use. What I suggest you do is keep it on the first function of IR where you're not using any illuminator, right? And just get something like one of these Surefire vampire lights. They would do the illuminator, or have a Pack 15 that has the IR illuminator. Both of those, if you're using it on your weapons anyway, it will help you do whatever illumination you need. And then if you don't want to use it, you don't have to use any type of illumination. This camera can zoom in pretty close. So that's also another pro. And it's 4K. You also have the ability to record your video, which is really good. I'm just gonna be honest with you. This unit is pretty good, and the fact that they can make it for so cheaply, and this quality is fairly decent. I think for manufacturing, we're in trouble, because I've been really impressed with the quality and the price point. And if you want to be able to get into something to use for night vision, you can't really beat this. If you don't have $5,000 or $6,000, you can get decent performance. Will this perform as good as a $5,000 PBS 14? No. But if you don't have $5,000 anyway, what difference does it make? At least you can have something where you can play around and do practically whatever you need to do in the dark. And as long as you know what the cons are going into it, you can figure out how you're going to work around it. What this unit really needs is somebody to manufacture sleeves, like, go over your PlayStation controller or your phone or your gun, like that rubber sleeves that goes over it. Somebody needs to manufacture these, one that goes over these. And that would solve the problem. If you had one that had like a little raised portion for each button and say it was black, that would totally take care of the fact that this is lit. And then you don't have to use the IR illuminator. You could always use one on from your vampire light. And even if you don't use an IR illuminator, you can still see fairly well at night with this camera. I was really surprised about that. I'm not sure what chipset they use for this, but I can tell you it's not the normal one. Even the one in this one, the chipset isn't that bad. What's its main limitation is the lens. This lens in here is pretty good. It also has an IR filter. So one thing that you need to keep in mind with this, I don't know if it shows up. Oh, yes, there it is. So that is your IR filter. So in the daytime, if you're using this, you would keep this on, so you would filter out the infrared light, and then at night you would remove it. And once you remove it, it's night and day. You can see a lot of extra details at night. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you video footage of what I recorded. Sorry for the video being so long, but I'm just trying to show you everything about this so you can make your own decision whether or not you want to purchase one or not. Alright, this is almost in complete darkness. Let me cut off the IR. That's with no backlight on. And you can still see in the complete darkness without the backlight. This is in complete darkness. So you can still see. It's actually pretty decent, I guess. So you can see things without the IR. And then that's a long way